Back with another episode of Double Barrel Shotgun. Look who has returned.
From Mexico.
From the sunny south. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether we're going to play that. We're all Mexican friends there. They're like, you Speedy Gonzalez, dude. Like, what the heck?
What you mean, guy?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, anyways, he's back. I'm back. We have stuff to discuss. We're not wasting time. You know who we are already. We're discussing playoffs, reviewing this past weekend's games. Oh, let's start with Saturday, AFC. Okay. We just discussed offline. We're not going to spend too much time on KC and Houston. All I would say in this case here, there's going to be a running trend I'm going to state at the beginning of the show. And I think I take the Dennis Green philosophy. They are what they are. We knew who they were, whatever the case may be. And Houston was pretty much a garbage fraud team all season long.
All season long. It
was a horrible set of players on the skill side and the offensive side of the ball, and it came back to bite them, and you know what. So, you know, when you're bringing J.J. Watt, it's supposed your best offensive skilled player, when you're down like 13 points, whatever the case may be, like, come on, dude. You tell me you got no skilled offensive players to run a second down and goal, and you're bringing in him a Wolford? That's like really, try it in preseason stuff. Just Bush League business. Anyways, we waste more time we need to talking that nonsense.
Enough.
All right, let's get to the main event. The boys in black and gold always make it interesting.
Oh man, that is so.
That's why we're always in prime time. Because it's never a dull moment.
Man, that is some crazy stuff, man.
Okay,
I mean,
this game's like trapped in the closet. There's about 18 different chapters of this game because I don't know where to start with this thing. Okay, so, oh boy, where to go with this? Okay, do we want to go backwards for the last 2-3 minutes of the game, or do we want to go through? Okay,
I mean, wow.
Okay, let's start. Let's start for the last 2-3 minutes of the game because I think let's unpack it that way. Then we'll go backwards.
For sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna start for the moment that Cincinnati scores a touchdown to take the lead. Okay, now here's the thing. It's something no one's really talked about yet. That me as a Steelers fan will like to ask Coach Tomlin a question about this, Mike Tomlin. If Ben Roethlisberger was good enough to come in with $1.20 left to go in the game, why wasn't he good enough to come in with $1.50 left to go in the game?
Oh, that is the $1 million. And nobody's really.
No one's asked that in the media.
Yeah.
Nobody's
really asked.
Right. If he's the break glass in case of an emergency situation. $1.50 wasn't down a point or two wasn't enough at that point
for them to come and say, "Yo, what's up?"
At your 8-yard line or your 12-yard line, what was it? That now 20 seconds or 30 seconds later, now we're gonna break glass.
Now we're gonna ring him in. We're gonna ring him in.
Right. Like I'm sitting there going, like, really? Now we're gonna do so? I'm like, come on, dude, man. Like so. I love me some Tomlin, but like that one, I had to sit there and scratch my head a little bit. Because everyone's talking about the 2-point conversion. I had no issue with that. It made sense.
I kind of got
that, man, because you want to get the 3 scores. I get why you did that. But that's the one that no one's really talking about. Everyone's getting the red herring's the 2-point conversion. That ain't nothing to do with that. That's the first thing the media says. Oh, the 2-point conversion doesn't work. Well, I mean, what was the decision on that? No. We'll get to the Minnesota 2-point conversion in a second. Cincinnati 2-point conversion. So they scored a touchdown. First thing, that's really when the real started going on for Cincinnati. That was one of the worst 2-point conversion calls I've ever seen in my life. First thing, it was a lateral. So if he had the ball is a fumble, and God knows what happens if Pittsburgh pitches the ball and runs down for 2 points, and they now lead with less than 2 minutes left to go. A horrible call. That's the first thing. They didn't get the ball back from the pick. Burfict picks the ball, and he decides to run down the opposite side. Once again, more brain-headed business by Cincinnati. The Bungles at it again. Because if we weren't sure that he actually was touched down, he could have ran the end zone. Like the old, I hate to talk to you about this, Judd. I know you're a Vikings fan, so I won't go into the Marshall play too much. But ends up getting 2 points the other way once again. Steelers get the lead. Knucklehead boneheadedness number 2. Bonehead play number 3. They get the ball and decide to run it. Now, they had to get 1 first down. I get that because the Steelers had a timeout. But, dude, why are you running for your life? You're trying to get the rushing record, guys. Sit yourself down. Like, I don't know what Hill's trying to think of. But he's a knucklehead to begin with, so I didn't lose no sleep
for him.
He's been
a knucklehead all season long, man.
They sprinkled the ball out from him, and at least the Steelers had good sense to try to pick up and run down the field because the first guy missed it. A couple of linemen missed it, and Cockrell decided to have enough common sense to just pick it up and just sit on it.
That's it.
So I sit there and say to myself, Cincinnati, that's where the game really was out of play. Now, I will go with this, the Cincinnati play. How much fear in this case? I think the Steelers play an amazing poker game. Because the Steelers came out with Roethlisberger out there as if everything was hunky-dory. Not once did the knuckleheads from the black and orange team decide, like, well, let me test out how good this arm is by blitzing him. Let me test and do some press coverage on his man and force him to throw deep if he can throw it deep. Nothing. They play a soft prevent zone as if Roethlisberger throw it 70 yards down the field. And Roethlisberger get a nickel and dime and just sidearming stuff or whatever way he can do it to get the ball in his hand.
Yeah, I'm sitting there like, what the heck are they doing? Go after him. Move him out of the pocket.
Okay, now let's get to the moment of truth here. So now we at the point where they're right at the precipice of getting to the field goal range. They do a quick little slant there for AB. Now, the question is not if it's dirty or not. I mean, I'm always of the opinion because heck, my team in this case is taking enough, taking enough licks when it comes to Goodell and the refs. So I get it. There ain't no team that understands more than Pittsburgh when it comes to getting shots and getting fined for it. Just ask Harrison and Porter or anybody else. We understand that. But you know the rules already. You already heard the referee say before the game, dudes, cut out the nonsense or we're going to start dealing with people. No, these guys kept pushing it. And the Steelers are playing them, just playing like a fiddle. The Steelers kept just working them up, guy. Lathering them
Porter,
up.
man.
But Porter has a great talent that Porter has ways of doing things that gets dudes incensed. I never forget the Cleveland game when before the game started, had like half the Cleveland bench ready to mob him. I don't know what Porter does or what Porter says, but he has an unbelievable talent of getting into people's skin.
Yeah, they were really ready to listen to him.
I know. And the thing about it is, let's get back to that second, because good Lord, we'll get to Porter in a second. So the lick happens. Now, I hear Dion's point. Can you pull up? Because that's my argument as well, too. But here's the difference. This is the reason why I know in this case that I know he's up to no good perfect. Because when he's going in there, he's coming with head first. But he knows, like, I can get speared for this. But he still can't help himself. I still got to put a little lick in him. So I'm going to stick the elbow in his head.
That guy is a prison. He's a prison football player, guy.
Right. So
he's a prison football player.
He just couldn't let it go. He said, I got to stick my elbow into his head. Dude. Come on, man. Like, right in the middle of the field, everyone can see it. Like, good Lord, Stevie Wonder can see it. Come on now.
He tried to compensate with shoulder. He tried to say it was all shoulder.
Whatever. Get out of here. Yeah. Come on, son. Give me a break. So they go off now. Now the Steelers at the 50-yard line at that point. Still.
And then on top of that, then you don't forget Jones.
Well, we can get right. Now, at 50.
Can't forget about Packard.
We can get to him in a second. 50, the Bengals at this point.
15.
At 50 yards with the weather how it was, that's no guarantee for the kicker in this case here. You still feel like, if I was a Bengals side, I still feel like, you know what? They got some work to do if they want to do. They got to make one more play and hustle and get to the line because there's no more timeouts. But no, because we deal with the Bungles, and we know what that means. When Pac-Man decides to run up. Now, here's the thing that kills me about this situation. When you watch the replay, this is what makes it even more ignorant. There's 4 Bengals already yammering or something like that at Porter already. The ref is already.
Is your thing freezing up on you, bro?
A little bit on the other side. The ref right now is pulling away the 3 or 4 Bengals already. Pac-Man is the last man in. The last man into this fracas, and he's the one that decides that he's gonna go bump the referee. Like, dude, come on, man. This team right now is just like, I mean, listen. We know already a couple years ago they had the big expose talking about all the players that gone to jail over the offseason. And who was the number one team in this case that had the biggest issue when it came to discipline? Shocking. Who else but the Cincinnati Bengals? At some point, Cincinnati has to look at themselves straight in the face and say, okay, we want to be a team that's going to be our team to be reckoned with. Not only do we have to figure out a way to do Baltimore and Pittsburgh, but we got to look for something that's going to be long-term and sustainable. So be it the coach or be it the GM, or be it, just the philosophy of that team, it's got to change, man. It's got to change. It's got to change.
Yeah, man.
Too many knuckleheads on one team. You need a couple of them. We always say you need a couple of knuckleheads, but you can't have that many on one team.
Well, that's the thing that's been the aftermath of the whole entire thing. Was like right away I just said them three dudes just cost that man his job, but they're still keeping him. So thing about it is that wow, man,
well,
really.
I mean, the ledger looks at it this way: like he's won. I think they had some crazy number. He's won something like 54 or 60 games or something like that in the last 5 years or something. Like he's had an impressive record. There's no two ways about it. But like,
isn't he like 0-11 or something?
Like he's like 0-8, 0-9. It's like last 6 straight
crazy number.
Last 6 straight, one and done.
I know, and I'm thinking to myself that normally gets you fired.
But I guess they figure in this case here is like, well, we're in the division with Baltimore, Pittsburgh. You can't do much better in this case, so be it. Well, and then I don't think I think they're nervous about going backwards. Because don't forget too, right? If I'm getting a playoff game every year, and I'm making, as I said, money off my TV revenue, wherever they get for the sharing, and wherever Bengals paraphernalia can sell, I'm winning 11, 12 games a year. If I'm the owner, I'm making money.
Yeah, you're making money, but
right? Man, but do they really want to win? Okay, let's move on.
Question.
Yeah, so we'll move on from that, man. Bengals offseason will be interesting. NFC. And my other team on the other side, the Seattle Seahawks.
Wow.
Live to fight another day. No.
I don't know how. Guy, the Lord was on your side that day, guy. Yesterday. And
well, that's what Russell Wilson told me. That's what Russell Wilson, the boys, told me. So I guess it's true. What's all said and done?
Did you see Sierra tonight singing the national anthem?
Oh, really?
Oh, man, alive.
Oh, well, I haven't picked up much of the game before I wrap over, but I have to check out the highlights of that.
I understand, Russell Wilson. I understand, brother.
hey, this might be the end of, well, I don't want to say it too loudly, but this could be the end of the Sierra Jinx.
Guy, it might be, guy.
Who knows, man? But when it's all said and done, man, when it comes down to it, the kicker just choked. Sometimes it's
simple. The kicker makes the kick, man. I'm sorry, man.
Sometimes the easiest answer is the most obvious, right? Sometimes the most obvious thing is what it is, man. Don't try to get complex. The kicker choked.
Yeah, he did.
It wasn't even close.
I don't know if he's not. The guy's supposed to be one of the best kickers in the league, and 27 yards, guy.
It was a chip shot.
Guy.
He was a good 2 feet from the goalpost. It wasn't close.
Guy, he caught. Yeah, man. There's nothing you can say on that guy.
Oh my god. Yeah. What else to say?
To the point that even the coach started crying, guy.
Well, the coach pretty much just called him out and said, "Yeah, you gotta make the kick." He didn't try to get cute with it in the post game conference. Hey, you gotta make the kick, dude. It's like, you got one job. Make the kick.
You got one job. Man, those NFL guys were killing him, guy. They were like, "Yo, you have only one job.
Well, it's a lonely world for a kicker.
You don't tackle nobody.
Right.
You don't run.
There we go. Right.
You don't do no sprints.
Right.
You got one job.
That's a lonely. There's no position lonelier in the world.
Oh my gosh.
That kicker. More so than a saver in baseball. You name it, whoever it may be, any sport, a goalkeeper, soccer, is nothing more lonely than a kicker in football.
Because everybody just gives you that stare.
Yeah, because they don't see you as an equal to begin with. It's not like they're not seeing the saver in this case as an equal in some ways. Where it's like, we're not looking at the goalkeeper saying we don't need you, but the kicker in this case is like, yo, dude, you're just barely here. We just tolerate you. That's all we do. As the kicker is getting tolerated. That's it. So I don't know. I mean, Seattle going into Carolina next week. I would be concerned if I was Carolina. I think Seattle, the weather was really the biggest factor in this game. I think when it comes to either side of having any sort of sustainable offense, I mean, but I think
you got to be worried though, B, because right now, what's going on with Lynch, guy?
Well, Lynch won't be a Seahawk next year. Mark my words.
You think?
Yeah.
That's a given.
Yeah, it is a given.
That's a given.
It is what it is. I mean, I'm not losing as much sleep about it, maybe some other folks. I don't know, but I think in this case here, it kind of reminds me a bit of kind of like what happened when Bettis retired a little bit with Pittsburgh, and it's like, well, here you go, Ben, it's you now.
Right. You think that's what happened?
And I think that's what's happened here, where it's like you got no more ways to kind of protect the quarterback, which I've always felt they never really had to in the first place. Because a couple seasons ago when they won the Super Bowl, they were putting up some 40-point, 50-point games on people. I watched a game against Buffalo when they put 50 on Buffalo. That was no beast mode going on. That was Russell Wilson running all about the sand lot, tossing the ball at 30 yards down the field.
Yeah.
So this is nothing new. He's just doing it at a bigger pace now than he was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think what happened now is that with the knucklehead left and went to the Jets, clear get that out of the locker room. I think that helped him now kind of assert himself
resurging as the main
leader of the team. Exactly, and I think you're seeing it play out now where it's like it's his team. Yeah. It's great we get beast mode back, but it's like we're not losing any sleep about it.
Right.
I mean,
plus you're paying the guy who's only $500,000 compared to $9 million.
Well, I think also too, man. Like, let's face it. I told you this with the Blue Jays with David Price when they didn't pitch in Game 7. That was, I told you and some of the fellas that was it for him as a J. I think the same thing could play in the safe with Marshawn Lynch. Yeah, when that fourth and goal, or the case may be in the Super Bowl, and they didn't get the ball to him and decided to run some little slant pattern to a third string or third line running receiver,
a wide receiver that never plays.
I don't care any man says. I don't care what they say. Any man's in the position of Marshawn Lynch is a prolific runner like that. Fields in this case has a certain set of pride. A guy that runs for tough yards,
right,
was not impressed with that.
Right. He just basically said, "Yo, I'm out, guy."
Right. I think at that point it was done, and no different than Price with the Jays. That was the same thing. It was done. It's done. It's like saying, well, okay, you don't trust me to get the biggest yard in this case of the season. What the heck you paying me for?
What you paying me for?
Right, right. So I think that's the mentality that was going into this season. So we'll see how it plays out. But I do like to see how it's chances against Carolina. I know Carolina.
I do too because I just think that's just their playoff experience.
I think the psychology between the two teams. I think even though Carolina did win this year, I think any Carolina fan.
I think I told you that.
Right.
I think I told you that.
Yeah. Oh, I know so. I know the relationship between two teams. I think in this case here, Carolina. If you had Carolina fans that they had to pick any team in the fort came out, the one they did not want to play with Seattle.
Correct.
And I think that's going to be an interesting little thing that's going to go on there. So let's wrap it up now with the last game. How you like me? You don't like him? How you like that? No? You don't like that?
Well, which game we talking about here? We talking about that. Which game we talking about now?
Come on, you know what we're talking about. So once again, road team wins again.
I know that's
in
crazy.
The capital.
Wow.
And now close.
RG3.
Well, let's go with the man in the moment that's running the team at the moment, because I mean, I go back to the beginning of this podcast. I said before, there's going to be a running theme throughout this whole first round. You are what you are, and in this case here, Kirk Cousins is what Kirk Cousins is. And he saw it come into fruition. Fumbles and misreads and missed passes. I mean, he had to do it on a rope. You got to make that throw. You got to make that throw. Like, come on, man. So, it is what it is. RG3, I'm not going to distract on that for today. We can discuss that in the offseason. Right now, Kirk Cousins, he's in the hot seat. Because that was not a performance.
Well, he's gonna get paid though.
He's gonna get paid. Yeah, because Washington right now just happened.
Making a big mistake. I think Washington is making.
Of course, we know Washington. Of course, Washington making a big mistake.
Paying that, if they paying that guy franchise tag money, you're stupid.
Well, here's the thing, right? Now, if I'm playing Washington, devil's advocate for Washington, right? And it's the same argument I had for RG3. In this case, I will have for him in the offseason. Is Kirk Cousins better than about a third of the quarterbacks in the league? Probably. So you got to pay his money, because who else you can get? You're going to draft and get a new quarterback? No. Who else you can get out there? Who? Ryan Fitzpatrick? Who you can get?
Well, I put him and Ryan Fitzpatrick in the same league, in the same boat.
I kind of put them in the same level too. I agree with you, but in this case here, he knows the system already, right? But that's what I'm saying. Guys like,
I know.
I know. Who you gonna get? Folds? Like, Folds? Like, who you can get? Like, there's nobody out there. Unless you draft. That's my point. So, like, they're going to have to pay him the money. And, I mean, when it's all said and done, Washington's happy to be in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
So, true. I mean, you're right. I don't think he's worth it. I mean, we talked about these contracts earlier this year. There's probably about maybe 7 quarterbacks that deserve the money to get, and the rest of them, we're pretty much paying back money to teams or the fans, because they're just stealing money. And we know who they are already. They're stealing money. Yeah. But it is what it is. That's the going rate, so be it. I mean, but we've seen consistently, be it in this case Houston and their garbage offense in this case, Brian Hoyer, who everyone say, oh, you know what, Cleveland should have kept him. There's the reason why Cleveland.
You sure about that?
There's the reason why Cleveland didn't keep him. There's one of the few things Cleveland got right. We saw it once again. You are who you are once again. Cincinnati, A bunch of knuckleheads all the time in this case here came back to bite them. You are what you are. Wow. Seattle and Minnesota. Unfortunately, in this case here, we saw in this case here with Minnesota moving the ball right, but can't get in the end zone in this case.
That's a toughie.
That's the one. I mean, that's the next level in this case for Bridgewater to move to that next level. I think he can, but I think they gotta help him too. They got him some better receivers as well too to help him on that front. So I think there's hope in Minnesota. That's the one positive thing of all the teams that lost.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last one in this case, Cousins is what Cousins is. Deshaun Jackson is what Deshaun Jackson is. I mean, I'm not gonna go too hard on him, but dude, you gotta run through and get that touchdown, dude.
I know he's 125 pounds and he made a business decision.
Right. Yeah, come on. You got put the arm out there or something. You can't just go and just you just can't just go and just pass on that. I'm sorry.
He thought he was an Eagle still.
Anyways, we were 20 minutes. Okay, we'll call this a day, man. Quickly this week, man. Give me your picks for this week, man. AFC.
Okay, so for this week, I got Green Bay getting their butts kicked by Arizona.
Okay.
I don't think that's gonna. I'm gonna choose Seattle over Carolina, just because of the experience. I think that New England game is going to be pretty interesting.
I agree.
It's going to be interesting because
New England's issues have not been solved.
Moving and he doesn't move already.
Well,
and he got a bad hammy leg, whatever situation, and them boys in Kansas City, they remember paybacks are rich.
Exactly.
And I think that they can get him. So, and then we got the other game there for the Denver-Pittsburgh. It's all contingent to me personally. It's all contingent if Roethlisberger plays.
He'll play.
I think they can do something.
He'll play.
I really do. First of all, I think the defense, your defense played really good. Shazier finally played like the beast he's supposed to be playing.
Here's the thing. My front seven's been pretty good for most of the year. The back end is where the problem's been. That's where the problem's been.
The back end is the issue.
The young boys are getting better, but here's the thing I find interesting. I think Denver's actually playing the Pittsburgh's hands. Because in this case, here's the reason why I say so. And I agree with you all the picks in this case, but here's my reason why I say so. If you played Osweiler, I think you actually have a better chance of beating Pittsburgh.
Better chance of winning the game.
Because Osweiler's going to push them and force them deep. Deep balls and stuff like that. Right now, there's no fear with Peyton. I'm sorry.
They're going to take away the middle and dare him to throw the ball deep.
Right.
And they're going to come up and blitz him right through the middle.
And if I see him with the happy feet in the first quarter, I was like, I got him.
No, I think Kubiak's going to be real quick on the hook. I think Kubiak will.
Can you imagine the Steelers get up 2 touchdowns early in that game, say something with a pick from Manning?
He will do it because listen,
I can get uncomfortable.
This is where you, as a coach, you are not as a coach. And I was saying this with O'Brien. I couldn't believe it. You just basically have to do this thing right.
Yeah, we lost.
You just got to do this thing right.
For real.
You coach as if it's your last game.
Yep. Well, we'll see, man.
You got time to play. You don't got to play the platitudes.
Man, where can the good folks find you, Eve?
They can find me at Y Charlotte. I'm glad to be back here in good old country of cold Canada.
And you can find me as usual at Beyond Locker Room, short for RM, guys, man. We're going to get out of here right now. We'll talk to y'all next week.